Hi there. My name is my name is Gina DeFord. I'm the founder of Babe Crafted. I'm going live today with the fabulous Monique McLeod of the Management Suite. We're going to be talking about building cult brands. So we're going to give Monique a moment to go ahead and request to join. We're going to add her to this party. And then, of course, we have time for questions all throughout. So do not be shy about popping your questions in the chat. Also, please go ahead and introduce yourselves. We would so love to get to know you a little bit more. And then, of course, we can customize the conversation we want to serve you and your goals. So Monique is hopping in here. So excited to talk about cult brands with her today. Hi, Monique. How are you?
Hi, I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Even better now that you're here.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being game to share your time and your expertise today. Let's go ahead and get this started by you sharing an intro of yourself. So tell us a little bit about yourself, what the Management Suite is, and then we'll dive into some questions about building a cult brand.
Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Monique McLeod, and I am the owner of the Management Suite. And I decided to start the Management Suite during the pandemic when I was trying to determine what to do after I completed my MBA at St. Leo University. I was having a hard time finding internships, and all I had really was just the experience of what I knew I didn't like and wasn't working, and all of the data that I had. And I found a solution in the marketplace after working with nonprofit organizations where we have organizations or even businesses that need to keep up their following and keep up the retention, but there is a gap missing as far as why can't we keep people around? What do the people need in order to stay? And so with everything that I know, I came up with the solution of focusing on culture and retention as the two primary things that I feel are necessary for keeping your following around and also keeping your customers around. And I kind of packaged it toward cult branding because essentially some of the most popular cult brands that we know of these days, such as Target, Starbucks, Peloton, those companies have, focused on culture and retention in one way or another to keep everybody like avid and raving about them.
Yes. Okay. So I love that we're talking about engagement and retention. So we've had some new folks join us. Welcome, welcome. Feel free to
Hey.
share an intro of yourself and tell us about your business in the chat. And the first question I have for you, Monique, is so what is a cult brand? So I know you shared a couple examples, but let's talk about what a cult brand is and how that relates to being a business owner.
So for me, this is my take and what I'm using to guide like how I'm serving people is a cult brand is a brand that is known for their values, their product, and their customer experience essentially. And those they're known by a small but strong and dedicated following by those things. And so, based off of the brands that we know about, not everybody is a coffee lover. However, there is a strong subset of coffee lovers that is avid about Starbucks. And so why is that important for a business owner? That's important because those things are going to be what you lean into in order to drive the sales that you need and to capture new clients and even to maintain your following. And I really wanted to make a point on distinguishing between your customer and your followers. Your customers are people that have already purchased from you. Your followers are people that either may not yet be customers, or they're just people that really love your brand but may not be the ideal customer for you. And those people are just as important because they're the ones that are ranting and raving and talking about you to other people, which kind of then lead back into the cycle of capturing new clients and converting them to customers. So everyone is important along the line.
Absolutely. Yeah. Two of the most important relationships a business has are with its current clients and with its potential clients. Those people we want to bring into our orbit and convert them into purchasers and convert them into, raving ambassadors. So for small business owners who are in the early stages, 3 to 5 years of business, which raise your hand in the chat if that is you. Are you, how many years have you been in business for? Tell us down below. So for the people who are in the early stages, how can they develop a cult brand? Like what are some really actual tangible ways they can do that?
Okay, so I want to first mention and put significance on the fact that I'm referring to people in the early stage, just because I think that within the marketplace, there's a lot of help for people that have, well-established businesses, but for the business owner that is kind of understanding like what they want to do and is now at the point of expansion, I don't know that there's that much guidance there to teach them how to, start to lay the foundation for what's really going to set them apart and forward in the future. And so with that being said, the first thing that you need to understand when you're wanting to build your cult brand is what's working for your business. I say 3 to 5 years because during that time period, you should have a strong understanding of what's the revenue driver within your business. And when you have an understanding of that, I'm looking this way for my notes. When you have an understanding of what that is, you're able to then hone in on that. This is the instruction. Hone in on what is driving the revenue to your business and start to kind of enhance that product to make it more of your signature product. This is oftentimes maybe one primary product or service. So when I say product, I'm using the two synonymously, product or service that you offer that people love about you. And so you want to hone in on those things and really start to enhance that to basically define yourself within the marketplace. Next, after that, you want to develop consistency in delivering that product or service. And so similar to how every time you go to Target, no matter where you go to Target, the experience is always the same. You want to make sure that with you as a small business owner, whoever you're serving, every single time that process is the same. So not only do the people that work with you get, as in your customers, not only do they get a consistent experience, but you also are now able to streamline your process so that it's easier for you to work with multiple people at a time. Next, you want to enhance your customer experience, and you want to do that in order to implement strategies that kind of control the behavior of your customers. And so what I mean by that is maybe, instead of just delivering the service and offboarding the person, you may want to implement a customer feedback survey throughout the process that you're working with the person so that they can give the feedback to you and then maybe incorporate small rewards so that they're inclined to fill out your feedback form. And so that way you're collecting data and you're figuring out how they feel about the experience that they're having with you. And now you know how to incentivize the people that are filling out the form. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're also creating an experience for the people that work for you. So I have it listed here as give the people you hire something else to do besides the job that you hired them for. So the experience there is also a part of the retention, to where you are able to create a pleasurable working environment. Whether or not you establish an experience, one is already there. So they either come to work and do what you tell them to do, or they come to work and they are valued in various ways that make them feel good, that you've already identified, and that's just adding to their work experience. So I know it's a lot, but to recap, make sure that you identify what your signature offer is and have that set you apart in the marketplace. You want to then focus on developing that and the process that you're using to deliver the service. You're wanting to create a customer experience with strategies that encourage certain behaviors to keep those customers coming back to do what you want them to do, essentially fill out a survey, continue purchasing. And then lastly, you want to create an experience for the people that work for you as well, so that they can enjoy working at your company and also be a part of the following that continues to spread great news about you and your brand.
Incredible. I love that you have carved out those 4 specific steps to build a cult brand. And I want to share with you, Monique. So we got an awesome comment in the chat from Sarah of On a Positive Note. She says that she is less than a year in her business, but she
Mhm.
has spent many years as an interior designer. So as someone who has been in business for less than a year, where would you recommend Sarah get started? Like, are you thinking tip one from what you've shared, or do you have any insight for her and anyone else who might be listening and who's been in business for less than a year?
So, if you've been in business for less than a year, I think that what you should do is so first of all, you're being just because you're new to business doesn't mean that you're new to business. You still have a great amount of experience that you've been able to capture over the years. And so, what I would encourage you to do is take all of the information that you have and identify where is there a need that you've recognized over the years and how can you service that need. From that information, you're then able to create a signature offer or product that, of course, is unique to you, that you can start to lean into and serve people with that problem. I say that because within the 1 year, sometimes we struggle with, I say we because I'm there with you as well, struggle with feeling worthy or valid of being able to help someone with the problem that they're having. And with you using this method that I've outlined, you're able to lean in on and use as part of your branding the previous experience that you've already had to kind of build your credibility, to show people that, okay, this is a new thing that I'm offering, but I've been doing this for X amount of years. And so this is why you should trust me, because I know what the people need and I know how to solve your problem. So that's what I think you should do, Sarah.
That is wonderful. And Sarah, thank you so much for commenting below. If you have any questions or anything else you want to share, please don't be shy about popping in the chat, and I'll make sure that Monique sees it and we can get it answered. Welcome, Tara. Welcome,
Ooh.
Ricardo. Welcome, Nikita. Welcome, Dion. Welcome, Hunter. We have so many wonderful people who have been tuning in. Tell us about what stage of business you're in, and we'll share some custom feedback for you. Thank you so much, Monique, for being game to, share based on what we have, coming from our attendees. So let's talk a little bit about myths. What do you want to break down? Like, what are some common misconceptions that you want to, kind of send off to the wayside?
Okay, so one thing that I feel like is really popular, and what a lot of people will think, especially if you've been working in your field. So there's two sides to the coin. Whether you've been working in your field for an extended period of time, or maybe like Sarah, you're new to what it is that you're about to be offering. She's kind of teetering between both. One of the myths that I want to debunk is the fact that being an expert is not enough to retain your clients. So you may know exactly what to do. You may have all of the experience in the world to be able to advise other people, and that's not enough. So you could be an expert, but you may have, a very unpleasant experience that people have to go through in order to work with you. And so, with that being said, your expertise alone is not going to carry you through allowing people, or carry you to allow people, how do I say, to want people to work with you. People want to work with you because you're an expert, but if it's difficult to work with you, if your processes aren't in place, or you're just an unpleasant person to work with, then they're not going to want to work with you. And so your expertise is no longer there as leverage for you. And so it's important to be mindful of the customer experience that you're having, whether it's whether you're a business that's in business for a long time or a business that has just started, being mindful of the steps that you're bringing people through in order to work with you. A lot of this can be smoothed over sometimes with transparent communication. Being mindful of that is definitely a myth, that just because you know what you're doing doesn't mean people want to work with you. And the second myth that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention is everyone is not fulfilled the same way. Discounts and perks are not the only thing that keep your clients. And so, there's a thing that I feel like people always say, especially when you're just starting, where, okay, if you give everyone a discount, then everybody will continue to purchase with you and come back. Depending on what you offer, offering a discount may actually deter people because they expect for the service that you're providing to be expensive. Also, sometimes offering a discount too soon or too often may deter people because deter people because they're expecting a discount every single time, and so they're not willing to pay full price for what you're wanting to offer. And that may hurt you in the long run, because when you find that you may need to increase your prices, your audience that you're serving now will drastically have to change, because those people that you've trained on discounts no longer want to buy from you. So be mindful of your client experience, not only being carried by your expertise, and then also finding out the ways that people really want to be fulfilled when engaging with you. So that doesn't necessarily look like a discount. Sometimes it just looks like having a really strong customer service experience, to where if there's a problem, then it's very hands-on in terms of like resolving the problem. Or let's say it's a product. There may be extended warranty on the product. Like, okay, if anything is happening, you're more than willing to send it back. And you're able to do that because you price your product accordingly. You don't necessarily offer discounts. And so people will happily pay you the full price at whatever price, because they know that they won't have any issues with customer service.
All right, you were on fire today, Monique. Thank you so much for sharing those 2 myths that you want to bust. And I've got a question for you. This is not on my little list I've got over here off to
Okay.
my right, but I want to get your feedback on it. So the question is about feedback. You know, feedback, I believe, as well, and I know that you've been talking about feedback too, is the life force of any business. It's important to know if what you're putting down is getting picked up, you know, but we also need to be able to decipher what feedback is, what to do with that feedback. Like, for example, Portillo's hot dogs. If they got the feedback that was, oh, love your hot dogs, y'all should serve burgers, they're probably not going to say absolutely and start serving burgers, because that's not their jam. So can you talk a little bit about what to do with feedback? Because we're going to receive a wide array of feedback, some feedback that is actionable, some feedback that we're not able to honor.
Correct. That's such an excellent question. And so to me, that all goes back to your values and what your business is all about, in terms of, defining what your culture is. Everyone's feedback isn't necessarily going to be something that you can take action on. And so being mindful and standing 10 toes down and being true to what it is that you do will help to give you the discernment that you need to consider to filter through the various types of feedback that you're going to receive. So with that being said, Portillo's, I love their chicken tenders and French fries. I was just there yesterday. If someone is coming to them and offering burgers, well, if you know the history of Portillo's, you know that they're a long-standing hot dog company. So why, in over the 20, 30 years, however long they've been around, should they start offering hamburgers? That's not what they're known for. Their cult brand knows them for their delicious hot dogs. And so therefore, to me, a hamburger is the rival of a hot dog. They have everything else but burgers. And so with that being said, just stay true to what you're good at, because the last thing that you want to do is take the feedback that, oh yeah, you guys should offer burgers. Then you finally do offer burgers and they suck. And now your brand is tarnished because you've offered this new thing and nobody likes it. And then you're going to have to scrap it anyway and go back to what you know is tried and true. And sometimes those things happen, and you should allow yourself room to flex and try things. However, it all goes back to what you know you should be doing.
Love that. Love that. Thank you so much for sharing and for rolling with this question. So before we dive in, yeah, girl, before we dive into the next question, I want to talk to our attendees. So let us know, what is your signature offer? What are you known for? And if you're still working on it, then tell us, what do you want to be known for in the chat? We want to hear from you. Okay. So why is focusing on your business's culture and retention important? What does that really look like if that's something that you are implementing, and how, what does it mean for your business long term?
So this is where, again, I'm speaking to the early stage business owners. We're talking about building the foundation of what's going to carry your business through its many years that hopefully you will have it open for and doing well. And with that being said, a lot of people start as solopreneurs, or they may have 1 and 2 team members, and they handle predominantly most of the business for quite some time themselves. You know, as you begin to grow and as you begin to scale, some of the things that you do now will no longer be serving you because you're going to need to hire people to handle the how do I say, handle the tasks that are no longer your focus. Your focus as a business owner is to keep the vision and move your business forward by making those type of decisions, not necessarily fulfilling your orders still yourself by hand, you know, after 4 or 5 years. And so because of that kind of shifty process, however you used to handle your clients, or customers yourself may change or become kind of muddled when you start to hire people to do the tasks that you used to do. And so in building your cult brand at this early stage, you're setting up a process that essentially can't be messed up. You know, you're creating a process, setting up your standard operating procedures and defining what your service or product should look like so that when you are ready to pass the baton to the next person, they're able to pick it up and you don't have to worry about the value or the quality of what you used to do changing. And that's just, you know, really from the customer's experience side. On the internal side, you're wanting to make sure that as you're growing, however you want the feel and the culture of your business to be, whether it's you and one person versus you and 5 people. At this stage, it's important to be intentional about defining what that looks like. So again, as you're growing, you have a feel, not a family feel, but an overall feeling of what you want that to feel like when you add more people to your team and also when you're growing your customers.
Heck yes. And so on that note, how can people work with you? Where can people find you? Tell us about where they can reach out, where they can stay in touch with you, and how to work with you.
Okay, so I am speaking with you guys from my business page, The Management Suite. And so you can actually send me a direct message there on The Management Suite, DM me there. That's pretty much where everything is really at. You can also send me an email, hello@themanagementsuite.com, and I'll be able to get your correspondence from there. Those are the two primary ways.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time today and for sharing all these amazing, like, tangible tips. You've been wonderful.
No problem. I'm so happy to be able to share because, again, I feel like, you know, people need to know these early stage things at the early stage because the worst thing that you could, well, not the worst thing that you can do, but if you can avoid it, right? Why not start your foundation strong and the right way instead of having to hit 5 to 7 years and then realize you got to do everything all over again from the foundation. So I'm hoping to help serve people to be corrective and build their cult brand.
Love it. Thank you so much, Monique. Really excited to have collaborated with you on today's Lunch and Learn. I will be sharing this as a replay in our feed, and then I know you've planned on reposting it as well. So for anyone who wants to revisit this conversation, or maybe miss the live version, they can tune into the replay. Thank you, Monique. Have a great day, and thanks to everyone who tuned in.
Thank you, Gina. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye, everybody. Cheers to building your cult brand.
Woo!